Hey Sassy Stampers, it's Tammy, and thanks for joining me as we put together our Valentine's Day card. This is the one that I posted for you guys. This was my original inspiration, the one that I thought when I saw something online similar, wasn't Valentine's, didn't have a heart here, it just had kind of an oval, but I thought, oh, that would be so pretty. And instead of just having a stripe of patterned paper, it had 2 or 3 stripes of patterned paper, and I had this background, and it's by Rubbernecker Stamps. It's a die by Rubbernecker Stamps. I'm reaching for it here, trying not to knock everything over on my desk. And it is called Slimline Bubble Scallop Die, and I just think it's beautiful. Very lacy, but different than just a scallop. It's like it bubbles out in places. This whole card was inspired because we got a donation from this really lovely woman named Abby. She is a friend of my daughter's, and she did card making and paper crafts of all kinds for a very long time. She wanted her papers and envelopes to go to good use. And when I saw these beautiful shimmery pink envelopes that are in your kit, I immediately thought Valentine card, and because they're number 10 envelopes, I immediately thought Slimline. And so I started trying to find paper that matched it. And it's a nice heavy cardstock, because I think when you're making a slimline card, it's nice to have that nice heavy cardstock. Most slimline cards are only going to be open and close. And look up on the internet, there are so many different sizes for slimline cards, everywhere from 3 by 7. I like to use the entire piece of paper, so definitely wanted it to be 8.5, but I wanted it to be trifold because I thought, how cute would it be to have the Happy Valentine's Day and then this cute, cute little envelope on a string. And then in here is where you put your personal message. I did not put a piece of white paper in here. You could if you want to, but I think this is a nice light pink, and whatever you write on, it'll be just fine. So that's up to you. If you want to add that white paper, you can, but it's not included in your kit. So because we used papers that were in our stash, and I knew I wanted Valentine type papers, I picked these 2 and this one, and so there's mostly this one and this one. This is the least of them, but definitely there are 3 different paper combinations. So both this rose and these little hearts have the gray background, and then these very flashy foiled hearts have this very shimmery purple background, which this shimmery purple, once again, donation from our friend Abby. So we're so thankful to her for that. Let's just open up a kit. I'm going to make this one. So now that we know your kit may look like this, it may look like this, or it may look like this, let's set these 2 aside, and we're going to make this one that has the shimmery purple. Inside your kit, you have your full piece of My Favorite Things pink paper. So you're going to have your little stamp of the envelope on a string. You're going to have your Happy Valentine's Day. You're going to have your Rubbernecker bubble scallop background. Your envelope, which of course we don't need that right now. We can set that to the side. Our strip of patterned paper, which you can use either side of this that you prefer. And a little piece of ribbon, and that is to make your bow underneath your Valentine heart. One thing for sure, you are definitely going to need whatever you use to score your paper, because we're going to score this paper into our trifold. And I do want to show you something about how I did this trifold card. I did not try to make these 3 exactly even. This is 3 3/4. This is 3 3/4, but you notice this little one is only 3 5/8. It gives us a nice little area here to where this card will fold up, and it doesn't create a lot of bulk in this fold. Because this paper's so heavy, it already is kind of difficult to fold it. So we left that open just a little bit, and I think it makes for a really nice card that way. You can actually change your measurements up a little bit and scooch that further in, but I really like this. So 3 3/4. Then this is also 3 3/4, and that makes this one 3 5/8. So we use our entire piece of 8.5 by 11 paper. So you're going to need whatever you use to score your cards with. I'm going to use my Caterpillar crease. I like this Caterpillar crease because it has my little stylus right here. I don't have to go looking for it. We're going to put our paper down, and I told you that we're going to do it at 3 3/4. So you just press down on that 3 3/4. Sure did, 7 1/2. Okay, so once you've scored, and yes, I messed that up. I don't think anybody will notice. I'm not really worried about it. You should definitely press this down. This paper is so heavy that it really just doesn't enjoy folding. So you want to get your bone folder and really press down on this paper. Now, let's get our scoring board out of the way. You can do that with your finger. You can do it with your fingernail. If you can find your bone folder, that is a way smarter way to do it. And if you have a Teflon bone folder, you can press this down without leaving any trace that you've done it. So the next thing we want to do is spend some time poking out every single one of these holes. And I think it's worth it because it's such a pretty background for these slimline cards. Be careful, don't put your finger behind there because you will poke right into your finger, and you don't want to bleed on cards. I mean, we already have COVID. We don't want to sneeze or cough on our cards. Probably set them in the sunshine a little bit before we put them in the envelope. Definitely don't want to lick our cards to close the envelopes, but certainly let's don't bleed on them either. Let's be health conscious. There's something else that you're going to have to poke all the little pieces out of as well. And you're welcome. Actually, this is kind of calming. It's a soothing motion to just poke all these little holes out. It's like doing diamond dots. I don't know if you guys have ever done diamond dots. I think the pictures are beautiful. I don't necessarily want to hang them in my house, but how fun to just sit there and mindlessly paint with gems. It's really fun. If you haven't done it, I recommend it. I'm just putting those right on the floor. So once you have all those holes poked out, let's just get started on these. There were a lot of holes to poke in this card. Poke, 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 poke. But once you get them all poked out, sometimes you have to go back and poke them again. And if that isn't enough hole poking for you, but wait, there's more. You've got to poke the holes out of this little heart too. But it's pretty quick. Imagine though, if I had to do this for 75 cards. I already cut them all out for you guys. I was not going to poke all of these little holes out. Okay. Now, assembling this card is not rocket science. So instead of paying a lot of attention to the assembly of the card, which we're going to go through every piece of it, I want to kind of talk to you about coloring for this card. So when you look at your paper, and actually there's no purple in this at all. This was just something that was donated and I thought it was really pretty. And, you know, it kind of matches. It's not perfect, but I think it looks pretty when you put it all together. So let's look at this. I used some pink Nuvo drops. You might have stickles, you might have a marker. and I dotted my eye on this. But other than that, I have used a gray ink. In this particular case, it was Gina K Soft Stone, and I've hidden it from myself. Oh, there it is right there. Gina K Soft Stone. Because I thought it looked really nice with this gray. And I just used my blending brush and I just went around the edges of that. Well, I don't think gray is going to look really pretty with this card. So I'm going to choose a different color ink. Now you could do pink, you could do red, you could do blue. There's even this kind of soft putty color here. But we also have our purple. And so I thought maybe some purple would be pretty. So sticking with Gina K, let's just try this. This one is called Lovely Lavender. I want to shade around the edge of these two white pieces. I'm using my Waffle Flower Water Media Mat, and you know I love this thing because it holds my paper in place. And Lovely Lavender by Gina K. Now this is what I learned, that if I start over here off the edge of the paper, just like you're always supposed to start off the edge of the paper, but if I keep my brush in the same place doing the same motion and I move my heart, I think it works really well. You can do this on scrap paper if you don't have a water media mat. It's certainly not a requirement to craft. It's so fun to watch the color just appear. It's like magic. And if I was a neater crafter, I would have cleaned off my gray ink. But nobody's going to see the back of this heart, because I certainly don't think people take cards apart when you send them to them. I hope they don't. Look at that. So pretty. And when we look at it with our papers, I think it looks really nice. I think we chose well there. Okay, so let's do our small heart and get this other paper out of the way so I don't get ink on everything. Oh, but I will. It's my special talent. I actually sometimes wonder if the first person who inked the edge of something was because they accidentally got ink on it and said, oh, that looks really good. That would have been how I discovered it anyway. So by putting this ink around the edge, it really makes the lacy edge of the heart stand out, I think, against the pink and against the other background as well. This little heart, of course, is just on pink. So cute. I really like it. So the next step is to color this, because if we want to do our little heart on our Galentines, this once again is Nuvo Drops. This color is called Pink Orchid. And it is a pretty bright pink. It might not exactly be the right pink, but I think it's cute. Now I make a heart by doing a dot and pulling down, dot next to it, and pull down, and that is a heart. Now I want to set this out of the way because I want that heart to dry. So I'm just going to set it over here. I start with my light. I was making sure I was on screen there. I'm imagining that the sun is shining this way. So that means this side of my heart is going to be the darkest part of my heart. So I want to shade that a little bit. And probably a little bit right there. Then I want to come in with my darkest. Is this 06? It is. Okay. Then I'm going to pull my 04 out a little bit. Because I don't want a line. Blend it out with my pink. Now, I really like those neutral shadows, but I thought it would be really pretty for the envelope on this to be purple. So I'm probably only going to use my 1 and 2 here to make my envelope purple. And because these are bluish, grayish purples, might make it a little bit difficult to make it look shadowed. But we'll start with our 02 here. And we know there'd be a shadow there, and a shadow here, and here. So we're just making this heart look like it's kind of standing off of that. Now I want to take my neutral. This is a neutral gray. And remember, my sunshine's coming from right here. Sun is shining down, makes this side darker. And I'm just going to put a shadow right there. That's kind of a harsh shadow. I'm not going to blend it out at all because this would be a harsh shadow because the sun is shining down on it, right? So that makes your envelope look like it's kind of standing up off the page. Now we're going to put a little bit more of a shadow underneath the edge of our heart and underneath the edge of our flaps. And all of a sudden, our heart looks like it's jumping off the page at us. Okay, so whenever we glue this on the inside of our piece of paper here, it really stands out because we shaded the purple and because we put that nice little shadow on it. Now you can do this with colored pencils, you can do it with Copics, you can do it with any kind of marker that you like, but I think that's really cute. And then of course, this is still sitting over here drying. Set it out of the way. Okay, we're going to set this over here to dry as well. And we're going to start card assembly. So the front of our card is obviously the one that goes all the way to the edge. The inside of the card is the one that doesn't quite go to the crease so that we have lots of room to work with. And we're going to put this beautiful shimmery purple paper right in the middle here. Now you can use tape runner, you can use glue, you can use glue dots, you can do whatever you prefer. You can even pop this up if you prefer. If you're not going to be mailing this card, if you're going to be handing it to somebody, because this envelope has plenty of room, because as you can see, there's lots of room left over. I just had a craft-a-lanch. Everything that I had stacked up over here fell off and fell towards me. Craft-a-lanch. That's what I call that. Okay, so emergency averted. All right, you can see that there's plenty of room for this envelope, this card to sit inside this envelope, and you can puff it up as much as you want to. So if you prefer to actually use dimensionals or 3M tape, foam tape, whatever, to stick this up, feel free to do that. I did not do that on mine because we put our strip of paper down the middle of it on the outside edge, and I didn't want to have to put it underneath and then on top as well. You could if you want to, so that's up to you. I just glued it down, and I just used my Lineco pH neutral glue, and I can't find my little jar with the sponge in it. I hate to admit that to you guys, but I can't. And I think this is stopped up a little bit. So there's always a good reason to have a pokey tool in your craft room, not just for poking out holes, but you can poke a little hole in your glue whenever it doesn't want to cooperate too. I am being a very bad craft example right now. Okay, now the glue's coming out too much. First not enough, now too much. It'll good and stick, I know that. So kind of eyeball it to where it's even on most sides. Once again, I like to slip a glue. I always say that. Y'all probably get sick of hearing me say that. Now, your paper was cut from 12 by 12 paper, so this is going to be too long for your card. So you can cut it off at exactly 8.5 inches, and it's going to be exactly the height of your card. And then you have a nice little piece that you can put somewhere else in this card or use on another card. It's completely up to you. I wanted to show you guys something, a chuckster. If you have a chuckster, they're great to use with your MISTI. They're also really good to press down anything that you've been gluing. It really works well. And I discovered that by accident because I was trying to press something down and it wasn't working, and I was pressing with my hand, and I just grabbed that chuckster. It was right there, and I went, oh, look at that. That really worked well. So I'm going to cut my piece of paper, my piece of 12-inch long pattern paper. I'm going to cut it down at 8.5. You guys know how to do that, so I'm going to do that off screen. Actually, it would be 11, wouldn't it? Boy, I almost messed up. It would be 11. I'm going to cut it off at 11. No, it's 8.5. Okay. I used my guillotine trimmer. 8.5, that's perfect. Now you can use your glue runner, tape runner, glue, whatever you prefer, and tape or glue this down on top of your rubbernecker bubble scalloped frame. I'm going to move that envelope out of the way. Probably gets a little confusing looking at that. Make it nice and even. Press it down. Use your chuckster if you like. Anyone who's watching that doesn't know what a chuckster is, if you ever watched Gina Kay do videos, she had a friend named Chuck, and he saw her using her MISTI stamping tool and putting the lid down and then pressing it with her hand, or taking her sleeve and putting it over the heel of her hand like this, and then pressing on the top of that MISTI. And he said, you need something to press that down with. And he made her a tool that's kind of like this, that just has felt on the bottom of it and a big handle to hold on to. And you can press with it, and it slides easily because it has that furniture mover felt on the bottom. And because his name is Chuck, she called it a chuckster, which makes perfect sense to me. Okay, so we have that. And you know, it occurred to me, if you wanted to, even on this paper, this shimmery purple paper, you could actually ink the edge of that if you wanted to. You could even ink the edge of this. It might be beautiful. It didn't occur to me to do it, so I don't know. Maybe it is. I hope one of you will do it and then post it on our Facebook page and our GroupWorks page. I am going to use foam tape on my heart. And I chose where to put my heart basically based on just where it would look pretty with a bow underneath it. So you can put it as high or as low as you like. I think probably about there would look good. So I'm just going to cut some foam tape and put on the back of this. I'm not sure that my little heart is set. It's kind of set. It's like whenever you're about to leave the nail salon and your nails are still kind of sticky, but not done. So it's kind of set. So I'm not going to press on it. I'm going to be a little bit careful with it. These scissors are not very sharp. Ooh, I just pressed on it from this side. I didn't mean to. Hopefully I didn't mess it up. I'll turn it over in a second and we'll look at it together. We'll see if it's messed up. I hope not, but it might be. So I just want my foam tape where it will hold this up. Oh, I didn't mess it up. Yay! But not, doesn't have to be on every square inch of the back. So once you put your foam tape where you like it, you can use dimensionals. You can use thick glue dots, 3M foam tape. Gina K has foam tape. However you like to pop stuff up, pop that up. All right. Oh, I got it a little crooked. If you don't push it down real hard, you can usually reposition it. Okay. And I'm going to push everywhere except for right on top of that heart because I don't want to mess it up. And then I'm going to take my ribbon. I love this ribbon. So cute with the little dots on it. I bought this in Oregon. I bought it at Walmart, but in Oregon. And I didn't have quite as much of it as I'd hoped. And I haven't been able to find it in Texas. You would think Walmart is Walmart is Walmart. I saw so many things at their Walmart that we have at ours. But this ribbon, no, they did not have it. So some of you in your kits will have white ribbon with dots on it, which is also really beautiful, very pretty. But not the sheer pink ribbon with the dots. I am not a great bow tire. I have to go through many variations of bows. And then I just end up cutting off the ends because I've never once in my life gotten a bow straight. Don't know why I can't do that, but I can't. See, that's, oh, no, my right side is a little bit bigger. Okay, we're going to pretend that's good enough. And I am going to use a glue dot to put my bow on. There we go. Best way to do this, I think, is to touch the glue dot to the bow and then pull it right off of the paper. Glue dots hold bows on really well because it's a nice dry glue. It's instant grab. I'm going to cut the ends of my bow so it looks pretty. And the front of my card is done. Now, I want my second little hello in my card. You can put this crooked or straight, however you like it. Because when you put it straight, it's still a little bit crooked. You know, the ribbon, the tie that's holding that is a little crooked. But just something about having it really crooked, I thought was really cute. So I am going to put mine on crooked. If you don't like that, if that just drives you crazy, put yours on straight. As you can see, either way, very, very cute. I just like how if it's crooked, it looks like it's peeking out the edge of the card. And I think a Galentine's Day card is, you know, really, it's just fun and cute. Okay, push that down. Ooh, the slip of glue sometimes moves them around too. Okay. And that is a simple little card, but I think it's very cute too. And as you can see, fits in the envelope really well. Love these shimmery envelopes. Don't lick this. Get some tape or a little bit of water to close that up. And that is our Valentine's Day card. I hope you have someone in mind that you want to say, hey, thanks for being my gal, for being my friend and sticking with me and talking to me on the phone 3 times a week or every day while we went through this crazy year last year. Thank goodness 2020 is over, but still looks like it might be a little bit before we are able to meet in person. I'm just gonna put the other one up here too. Both really cute, a little bit different. And happy Galentine's Day. Every one of you guys in Sassy Stampers are my Galentines. You have kept me sane. It's been fun to think of ways to meet and projects and all kinds of stuff. But I sure am looking forward to being back in person doing our cards together, where we can all stamp together and we can die cut together. I think it's just a whole lot more fun. And a couple of things I want to mention. Teresa Rosbrom will be doing our card. It's going to be a beautiful spotlight card next month. But we need to go ahead and send in our dues, our membership dues. We should do that every January, of course. And if we were meeting in person, we would be reminded when we showed up. But we're not meeting in person, so I'm reminding you here at our January meeting, please send in your membership dues, $15. Make your check payable to Sassy Stampers. You can mail it to Gloria Bear, and I will put her address on screen. Be sure and get your membership dues in. If you need to make any changes, phone number, email, any changes like that whatsoever, go ahead and print out the membership form. That's also going to be on our group works page. And that will allow us to know that there have been changes. She'll get those changes over to Karen, and she'll get you updated in group works. But be sure, write that check, $15, make it payable to Robson Ranch, Sassy Stampers, and mail it to Gloria Bear. Thanks for joining me today, guys. I really enjoyed it. See you next time.